Oh, baloney. The whole thing always gets back to drugs.
Hello, my name is Sandro Graca and I'm a licensed acupuncturist. Those guitars were the loudest thing I've heard this morning because it's Sunday morning. I haven't had breakfast yet. Thanks to Siobhan, I've had coffee, but I haven't even had breakfast yet. And I had someone on the other line really excited about something really special to tell you all. So I said, yeah, okay, let's just get the camera rolling. And I said, yeah, okay, look, this is someone really important for us. So I said, whatever, yeah, let's go and do it. Otherwise, I'd be in bed. Um, but this is someone really, really special. You've seen her on this vlog before, and you will see her a lot more because, as you could see from one of the last vlogs that we had out, I'll leave the link up there, she has been announced as one of the main speakers at the pre-symposium for the Integrative Fertility Symposium 2018. So you will see a lot more from this person. This is Naava Carman. You've seen a few bits and pieces before because we met in Rothenburg where Lauren, Siobhan and I went to her lecture when she was lecturing at the TCM Congress. And recently we've been to Edinburgh to one of her talks because of the my work with the Obstetrical Acupuncture Association. I just want to brush up on my obstetrics as much as possible. So she was doing a full day on the complex diseases of pregnancy. So you've seen Naava featured a lot here. She's well known internationally, and as I said, she must be really, really proud being announced as one of the lecturers for the pre-symposium. I hope that's not why she's calling me this early on a Sunday morning, but she sounds really excited about something and she wants to tell you all something before everybody else knows. So I suppose the best thing to do is just to go to split screen and just hear whatever it is that Naava Carman wants to share with us. So let's go. So everybody knows that I'm not really a morning person, and this is being recorded on a Sunday morning. And apparently it's because someone has really important news to tell me. And I said, like, yeah, I know. Yeah, it's the news about speaking at the IFS 2018. I recorded the video. It's online. You can go and check it out. Like, what is going on? Why did you wake me up this early in the morning? And then Nava goes, no, it's not that. That's all online. Everyone can find that out. I have something even more exciting to tell you on a Sunday morning. So please, let's make this worthwhile. And what is it that you want to share with everyone?
I'm going to share with you the fact that I have manifested out of my brain this diploma, and that I'm delighted to say before we go live with booking that I have more people, double the amount of people, in fact, than I have places. So we're going live Monday the 4th. 10 o'clock for the people who've already signed up. They get 24 hours of access to book in. So it might be that we even sell out before we go public. All of the advertising isn't going out until next week. There's still an advert to come in our trade magazine. But I'm delighted to say I think that it won't even be necessary. And I feel quite proud of myself and everybody who's on kind of the same wavelength at this time to join in.
Yeah.
And I'm really excited and looking forward to doing it.
This is amazing then. Like, but what is it that you're doing then? Like, what is this diploma? What is in it? Like, what can you share before even it goes live?
Well, it is 5 days or 5 seminars, 10 days. And anyone who's been to a seminar will know that over the last 2 years while I've been trialing them, a lot of them started as one day. Yeah. And everybody ended up brain dead at the end of the day. There was just too much information. So I've elongated them, I've extended them, I've worked on them. Literally each seminar that I've done has had months and months and months of research and work go into it, and then me practicing and giving the lecture again and again and again until I think it's of a really good standard. And I realized at the end of that 2 years what I had was the makings of the diploma. And what I also had was stuff that nobody else was working on, which is quite important actually. If I'm going to ask you to come along and give me your time and your money and your attention, that it has to be of good enough value that it really is transformative or changing, makes you look differently at how you're treating your patients. So I've pulled together 5 weekends, and they're going to cover every aspect of reproductive immunology from a TCM and a Western point of view. And that includes all about the immune system, recurrent miscarriage, preeclampsia. Then I have weekend on polycystic ovaries, a great amount of information on diet and supplements, hyperstimulation, an entire weekend on all sorts of assisted conception and how to guide your patients through it. And all of these weekends, of course, are from both a TCM and a Western medicine point of view. And I'm going to be talking about how to integrate them and how to take practical TCM out of that information to make it happen for your clients. I'm going to be talking about complex diseases of pregnancy, which is a course that you've just been on, my last one.
Yeah.
And it's not just, morning sickness or back pain. It's hardcore stuff that I do see in clinic, like pruritic urticaric papules of pregnancy, PUPS it's called, which is something that you wouldn't see that often, but if you do, you really want to know how to deal with it. I'm going to do information on endometriosis, and we're going to look at every part of fertility that I can think of to give you the skills you need to really take your practice to the next level.
Okay, now you're making this worthwhile getting up this early in the morning now, because this is really exciting stuff then. Yeah, and then you're right. So only as we're recording this only last week, and people have seen this on the vlog as well. Siobhan and I went to Edinburgh to one of your talks, and that is, I wouldn't go as far as saying that the brain was fried, but that is a lot of amazing information. I still have the notes. Here, and everyone can just, even for everyone to see, like, the amount of stuff that you give in terms of information for the one day only. So I can only imagine how much information you're going to get for the whole, which is great, because sometimes, you might go and how much are you going to write in one day and how much you're going to keep in your brain in one day, but that is amazing.
Reference, basically.
Yeah, I did and just for people to know, in terms of what people know about the two of us going around and learning as much as possible, I wanted to do that complex diseases of pregnancy because of the Obstetrics Acupuncture Association, just as a refresher, going through things. I still have the notes there with me because the course was absolutely amazing. So if that was you one day, I can only imagine what you're going to do with 5 weekends?
It's 5 weekends.
Oh my God,
and what I can promise you is that you'll have really good quality color notes, properly bound, so you have them as like a reference book for you to keep on your clinic desk. We're going to talk about how to read blood tests, how to translate them into Chinese medicine, new ways to look at temperature charts, new approaches that are not in books that I'm going to write a book about it next year. I'm taking some time off to do that. But a completely different way of thinking about how to treat in the luteal phase and in pregnancy that transforms your practice. When you've been hitting your head against a wall and something and there's nothing in a book, this is the thing that will take you to that next level.
So this sounds like, okay, is this going to be like for a practitioner just qualified, or are you looking for any particular profile of practitioner? Is this like for open to anyone, or are you specifically going like towards fertility, or what's the profile of practitioner you want on your course then?
Ideally, I would like a practitioner who's been in practice at least 5 years. That's kind of my low bar. And the reason I've done that is because there are lots of courses around, including diplomas, which are excellent when you've just come out of college, because we get a bit of everything. We're all kind of GPs when we start.
Yep.
And there are lots of courses that will give you the basic stuff and expand upon that. But for me, most of my practice over the years has evolved to seeing the difficult side of things. So most of my patients are 38 to 45. They're the ones with multiple miscarriages, years of unexplained infertility, complex uterine problems. And so what I'd really like to do is take the people who have experience and then just push them up to the next level. And I don't think there's anything out there yet, or that I've seen and I found for myself, certainly, that actually does that. And that's that little extra push I want to give. And then we'll talk about in a minute that very last weekend, which we haven't discussed yet, but I will explain more about.
There's more surprises then, yeah. So what got you, okay, I know, kind of like a half personal, half professional question. What got you to put this diploma together then? So
it's a culmination of all these years. Sorry, say again?
What possessed you in your brain to do this amount of work? Which is great, please do.
I think my husband would occasionally ask the same when I've disappeared into my books again for yet another weekend. A number of factors. Firstly, lack of CPD for myself. So if I'm struggling, then I know there are other people out there too. Lack of that push. I also have been doing years of mentoring, first off my own bat, because I just kept getting calls from other practitioners who are asking me questions that I was quite, these are practitioners who've been working for years, and they're asking me questions that I think, how is it that you're not knowing this, and why are you safe treating a patient? So I started to do mentoring, and I joined the supervision and supervision register at the BACC to do more mentoring. And what I realized is we only know what we know. So there's vast amounts there. And if you're not of a mind or don't have the time to do that CPD, then you're not going to grow yourself. So I want to just provide it on a plate and really just help to elevate us as a profession. And of course I learn from teaching, both because I teach myself and because I learn from my colleagues. So I want us to have a pool of people who are resources for each other to draw on. We're all up at this same level. And we have a problem, I think, in this country. The British Acupuncture Council haven't come out with any definitive statement on specialisation. And I know that this is a controversial subject. I've written about it, and I wrote an article many years ago in the British Acupuncture Council that argued for specialisation. And somebody wrote back as a rebuttal the next month, I don't remember who it was, and said something along the lines of, I've been to 2 courses and I've read 5 books, and actually the books are more useful than the courses, and I feel perfectly equipped to treat fertility. And I thought that kind of says it all. It says it all that you think that's all it takes to treat fertility, because this is such a complex field. I've been doing nothing but fertility for 20 years and still feel like I'm just scratching the surface of what I do, wanting to and needing to keep learning.
Oh,
so how do
controversy. I love this. Yeah, and you do know that Paul watches the vlogs as well. So let's.
Because Paul, if you're watching, as you know, I tried to get a hold of you to talk about this, and you do not return calls or emails. So I'm doing it myself because the BACC did not do it. What I'm doing is a logo at the end of the diploma. When you've passed the diploma, which ends in a piece of coursework, you get a logo. And what I want to start doing is what ABORM have done in America, which is just give a gold standard for the consumer. Because at the moment, someone, you can go out and actually pretty much purchase the name of someone who's well known in the field and go to a couple of training courses, and the public thinks that's what a really good fertility acupuncturist does. But it's not enough. And so what I want to try and create is that gold standard of learning and understanding, so the consumer is safe in our hands.
Yeah, absolutely. Listen, that's the background of these vlogs. It always started like that. Patient education first. I know sometimes I have practitioners like yourself here, but absolutely, if the patient knows what to look for, and when they are looking for it, they get more information, then they can spread the word. It's almost like they're going to do part of the announcement of what you do for yourself. So I'm totally up to that. And look, I know you're talking about the BACC, but here in Ireland, I know, let's go with the controversy now as well, yeah? It's kind of the same thing. Like, it's really difficult with CPDs. It's really difficult to explain to other practitioners why you should actually be doing the CPDs, why it's important, not just for you, but actually for your patients. Especially if you're talking about fertility. Like, simple question, right? Go back, you say you decide that in 5 years you've read 1 book and that was all that you read. Yeah, I know some of the technical books are quite thick books and everything, but tell me one thing, are the medications, are the diagnosing techniques that the clinics are using, are the protocols that they're using, are they the same that they were 5 years ago? How can you be treating, and how can you be having, and I know that then there's going to be practitioners jumping on this and going, well, please do, leave the comments below, going, oh, but we treat with Chinese medicine and we don't use, well, yeah, I know you treat with Chinese medicine, but if you don't know the other half of the story, like how...
The Chinese medicine isn't going to be accurate.
Yeah, absolutely. So
knowing, for example, if a client's going through an IVF cycle, which fortunately doesn't happen very often in my clinic, but when they do, one of the things I do is ask your GP ask your consultant or ask the nurse, what is your estrogen level? Because of course, we know if we can keep track of the estrogen level, we know there are certain points that tonify yin and blood we must not be doing because it raises estrogen. And if we know it's a polycystic ovary patient who may be prone to hyperstimulation, then it may not present necessarily from a TCM point of view, but if you overlay the Western stuff on top of it and you can refine your TCM with it, my God, the difference in treatment is huge.
Absolutely, yeah.
And that's part of what we're going to be learning in the diploma. And
you can even go and bring that, because you did that with the pregnancy side of things as well. You need to know the Western medicine side of things. Like, there's no way that, yes, you are treating in your clinic using your own paradigm of Chinese medicine, but you need to know the other side as well. So I'm all up for CPDs. And look, we had this conversation with Gil when we were recording, and it was like, I've had so many people asking me, how much does Lorne pay you to talk about Pro-D seminars? And I'm like, apart from a couple of pints of Guinness in Vancouver, nothing. Why are you asking that? Oh, because you're always talking about CPDs. And I'm like, yeah, because you can do them online. If you had the thing about, oh, I can't travel and it's too far away and this, well, then sit down at your desk and do it online. I was talking to Lauren the other day. I think that bit is the one that it's going to go out this coming week. And we were saying, when you're not as busy, you're having a practitioner saying that, oh, I'm not as busy in the clinic, so I don't know. You're not as busy in the clinic, get yourself online and do some of the webinars. Because when you're not as busy, if you learn about a new learn a new skill, put it out there to the universe.
That segues very nicely into that last weekend of the diploma, which I haven't talked about very much. And I haven't talked about online a lot because it's scary for people. But the last weekend is all about how to make your practice work. You and I have talked about this before, that when we all start, we have grand visions and we have ideas and we write this business plan in college, like, here's how much I'm going to make, here's how much I'm going to charge. And then as time goes on, in my class of people, I think there's only 2 of us still practicing. We had a class of about 30. And I think it's because a lot of us don't have those business skills. We don't have the foundation to understand about customer service and about procedure. And there's also a lack of understanding that when you invest in yourself, it does absolutely translate back out into what you offer your clients. I regularly interview the consultants I work with and ask them, what are you working on? What are you researching? What can you tell me? I often get information before it's out there in the public that I can use to treat my clients. But if I show you some of the stuff, give me one moment.
Okay. Oh, this is so worth it, getting up early on a Sunday morning then. Oh my God.
This is one of the 8 piles of books that I have read to do one of the courses. So just to tell you, practice what you preach. If I want to learn about something, I learn it. And I want to encourage everyone to do the same. And part of that marketing day is not about learning your TCM, but it's learning about what it means to run a small business. Everything from actually making an active decision about whether you should be a sole trader or a limited company and understanding the difference between those two things, to defining your vision for what you want to be, to thinking about how you can lower your overheads and raise your prices without compromising your patient care in the area that you live. A little bit of inspiration to think about how you want to be as a practitioner and the message you want to be consistently sending, the infrastructure that guides your patients in. Every little bit we're going to look at. We're even going to look at our attitudes toward money and something called a genogram, which is looking at your family tree and looking at it with a filter about money and exploring how even our attitudes about money that we have in our lives now are so much formed by the family we grew up in, and letting go of stuff that doesn't work for us, and trying to demystify and break down the problems that we've got in our profession between thinking if you're charging money or if you're earning a good living, then somehow you're not going to be able to see the patients who need it or who deserve it, and that somehow we don't deserve the money that we're earning. So I really want to work on kind of letting that go and breaking that down and understanding that caring professionally is okay, and it doesn't drain you, and it is okay to earn money to do it. And actually we are able to give so much more when we give to ourselves first.
Absolutely.
It's a little bit like going on a plane, right? They say when the thing drops, if you're a parent, first you put your own life mask on.
Yeah.
That's what we're going to learn to do for our business. Put your own life mask on so you can serve others.
Funny story about you're saying about the family and how it influences that. It so resonates with me, because one of the things that I still say to people is one of the first times of my parents talking to me about money and learning how to manage money and everything. I remember my mom being really, really strict about and I'm sorry, Mom, being really strict about make sure you always save some money because you have to save for a rainy day. And I so remember that one of my, you're like 5, 6, 7, I don't know. And I used to ask, but what if it never rains? And I kept that image in me. It's like, no, just invest it. Just do something. You have it now. Why are you going to go with, oh, I'm not good. I'm just going to keep it here. I was like, yeah, just do something. You have it now. Just live on the now. Don't be thinking about what was it Lauren said, tomorrow never comes kind of thing. Yeah, just invest on it now. But truly, it's something that you don't really learn in Chinese medicine school or when you're doing the acupuncture courses. You don't really talk much about business. So that is really, really cool. Where can people go? Do you have it all on the website? Or I know you're going to launch it then on the 4th, but do you have it online where people can actually see the outline, or is it already available?
You can see it on my website, which is fertilitysupport.co.uk/secrets, because what I'm going to do is share with you the secrets of my practice. fertilitysupport.co.uk/secrets.
Okay, I'll leave the link there.
And if you have any questions, you can email me directly, and I'm happy to answer it and to elaborate on anything that needs to be talked about.
And you were saying about the that you have the numbers are really high at the moment. That's like a pre-registration thing. So can people get in touch with you and just put their name down, or what way?
Yes.
What do you want people to
There's
do?
a little bit on that website. When you follow that URL, there's a little bit that says register your interest. So you can still register your interest until Tuesday morning. If I don't sell out on Monday, then on Tuesday I will open
Okay.
for bookings for the Northern course. So that's sort of the last hurrah that you can book in on that.
That is amazing. And I know if I didn't know you, I would be thinking like, why are you putting yourself through so much work? But I'm like, oh, please do, because I really want to know more about this. And I'm not one bit surprised that the interest is actually twice as much of than what you opened in terms of the amount of numbers for the course. So I really hope. Can I just ask you one thing then? Because you know the way that we all have you're making me think about going back and think about growing up, and we all had we all had a first life before we turned into acupuncturists. What got you into acupuncture? What got you into Chinese medicine? How did you transform into the Naava that we know now?
Well, actually, I have never done anything else. I was about 17 and I got ME. And I used to get these blinding headaches and nothing would touch it. No drugs. I mean, they gave me, I think at that time, they didn't really know what to do with me. So, it was a long time ago, like a long time ago. So they used to give lidocaine patches and codeine and all sorts of things that never touched it. And I have a very progressive mum. She's Dutch, Australian, and she was like all out there for interesting things to do to try and get me better. And she found this bloke who, of course, now I know, firstly, he's still in practice. And now I know that if wasn't properly qualified, and if he had been, I probably would have got better a lot earlier. But he used to come to the house and do 20 in. He used to put a needle in my head and the headache would just vanish. And it was like a miracle. So I got better and I went on and I did history of art at university, thinking I was going to go on and do a law conversion course and be a lawyer in the area of history of art, because I've always loved art. And about half a year in, I thought, this is not what I want to do. And I went back and I told my dad, who had a heart attack, because he had always said he would help me pay for my education. I was working as a teacher at the time to help pay my way. And so I decided to go for it because I wanted to finish college or finish university and be able to go into practice. So I spent 3 years training as an acupuncturist, doing a BA in history of art and teaching and getting myself through, so that when I graduated, I was ready to go in. And I had a client quite early on who I'm still in touch with, and she had been told she was never going to get pregnant, and she had IVF and had conceived, and she very sadly lost a baby just before it was viable. And she came to me, and neither of us really thought about anything other than getting her ready for her next IVF cycle. I just did what I did. And she got pregnant naturally. And he's now all grown up, and after that I just thought, well, this is what I'm supposed to be doing. And when I did that, I must have been like 21, 22, 23, something like that. And there was nothing out there like there is now. Nothing. I used to go and pay people for their time. I read every book I could get my hand on. And I always say I'd like to give my clients for those first few years a refund, because I kind of learned on them, as I suppose you do at every stage. Mm-hmm. But that's how I got into it. And I remember still in those, well, it never gets old, but in the first few years, I had these amazing things happen in my practice. And I remember the second time I met my mother-in-law, I was very young at the time. And halfway through I've been talking to them about this client I had that was really difficult and complicated, and I've been working on them. And halfway through the lunch, I turned to David and my husband, and I said, "Oh, did you tell her about the baby?" And then I looked at my mother-in-law's face, which had just gone. And she now says to me, between me saying that and her opening her mouth, she'd planned the wedding. And but it was, even back then, just the high of being able to work through a complex case and help to create a baby at the other end, that was just felt right to me and what I always wanted to do. And as times have gone on, my clients have become more and more complicated. And so I notice in my own practice that I always have this hitch. I have a plateau. Whenever things change, I don't have as much success, and I realize it's because I have to learn so much more, and then everything jumps to that next level. So it's always the beauty of our profession, is it's always evolving. We always learn, we always get better, we always struggle, and in that struggle and in that learning we always improve.
And it's so cool. I've said this so many times about meeting people like you, and, so out there, and so, really, really pushing things forward. And it was a pleasure to meet you. At the first time I was at any of your lectures was in Rothenburg. So,
Yeah.
and you've been all over the world, and you're going to continue to be all over the world, because we'll see you in Vancouver as well for the IFS. None other than actually a pre-symposium lecture. It's not just Naava doesn't just go and do like one of the lectures. No. She takes over the full slot in one day. This is where you are, and that's pretty cool. And it's really important that other practitioners kind of look at you and go, I want to do that too, and I want to learn from that person, because this is so important for my own development, but actually for the people coming in the door as well. Like it's so cool. Like at all the people that you can help then. It's amazing.
And most importantly, I want you to do it too. That's why I'm doing this, because I don't believe in competition, and I don't believe in keeping things to myself. And what I really want to do is give and share as much as has been given and shared with me, and just create this pool of colleagues that I can work with and be, championed with and learn from. And so, come along. Let me give you the contents of my brain on a platter.
I was going to say that to you, that I don't know how you're going to work around that, but you're saying about having twice the numbers. You do know that you're going to have to keep 2 seats though, because Siobhan and I will be there. So whatever way you're going to do
seats reserved.
do I get but I knew first because I recorded with you, and I need those 2 seats. So sorry everybody else, but 2 are for Siobhan and me. So sorry.
10 left.
There you go. Yeah, that's the way to go. Yeah. The website is fertility support. Is it .com?
You can get to it through .com or .co.uk. Either
Okay,
is fine.
/secrets is where you have all the information. I'll leave the link down here as well. I can only say that I was so happy when not only I knew before you did, because I remember texting you to say that you'd been selected for the Integrative Fertility Symposium, but I was so delighted that not only I was so delighted, and then I can't actually go to half of your talk, so sorry about that.
You got the egg forming, Sam.
Yeah, which is another thing about pushing the boundaries out there. I've had people asking me, why are you doing that? And I'm like, why not?
Because it will eventually come over here.
Absolutely.
And we have to be ahead of that. We have to be all over it. And I think it's brilliant that you do that.
So, but I will sneak in after lunch anyway. So I'll be keeping an eye. And for everyone else, it's going to be the pre-symposium talks. I don't know if you know that, but they're actually live on the day. So there's no excuses. Anyone around the world can just log in, and they can actually get the pre-symposium. Pre-symposium lectures are actually online and live. So it's not like the other ones that only go after a while. So get the opportunity. It's there. fertilitysupport.co.uk /secrets. Congratulations on going to Vancouver as well. I'm looking forward to that.
And thank you for spending the time on a Sunday morning interviewing me.
I wonder what's for breakfast now. And the other thing,
I've got a 3-year-old. It's like lunchtime for me already.
Yeah, this is Sunday morning. I just got myself into doing more studying, and I haven't even had breakfast. So that's a good morning's work. Can I go back to bed now? Naava, thank you so much for your time. I really, really hope you can come on the vlog whenever you want. Seriously, just whenever you want. I'll leave the links down here. I'll leave the description as well. I'll post it all over social media. Can I just post this whenever I want to, or do you want me to wait?
That'd be great. Yeah.
So everyone's going to get the heads up on this. It's fantastic. Look, I wish you all the best, and I'm looking forward to it now. Thank you so much.
Thank you. See you soon.
Oh, baloney. The whole thing always gets back to drugs.